I don't have that much experience in life, but there are phases that I've been through which is very difficult for me. So it started when I was 12 or 13 years old. This is the age where I was curious about the world and I was interested in comparative religion. So one of the people that inspired me was Dr. Zakir Naik and Ahmad Deedat. During this phase, I was very optimistic about my religion, right? I wanted to share the world that, oh mashallah, Islam is the best religion in the world. It helps me a little because I was also into debating, but this is when everything changes. So it might just be me, maybe not everyone, but the circle of competitive debating is very liberal and they probably shut down most, if not all, conservative sentiment, and it endorses critical thinking. So it scrutinizes everything, questions everything, and this is the phase where I started questioning my own religion. I was reading the opposite view of Dr. Zakir Naik, the opposite view of Ahmad Deedat, specifically Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens. By that time, every morning I would wake up and read BBC News, Al Jazeera, some random Wikipedia thing. I would watch intellectual videos or whatever. So this leads me to convince myself that at that time that I thought that religion was bullshit. So I wasn't an atheist. I was more to agnostic. I wasn't sure whether there's actually a God or there's no God at all. I just thought that there wasn't enough evidence or enough compelling reason to believe in a particular God. But at one point in my life, I wanted to believe in something. I remember one of the most inspiring speakers to me was Nouman Ali Khan. He was very inspiring to me because he also went through the same thing. His linguistic interpretation of Islam was very convincing, or at least persuasive. So one day I tried ask Allah for guidance. I remember one night I prayed to God and I was like crying, and there are actually external factors to this that is too private to discuss. Maybe relating to a girl, nah, just kidding. It's more to, I realized there is more to life than reason, although reason is important to change the position on something. I believe that Allah, or at least Islam, transcends that. To me personally, Sam Harris did help me become more convincing to Islam rather than the contrary. Although whatever he says is totally anti-Islam, bro. You watch his videos, you would think that he doesn't know what he's saying, but his reasoning is very concise. But because of that, it makes me realize that Islam is also concise. You can read Sheikh Hamzah Yusuf, Imam Suhaib Webb. For now, I discourage people from Dr. Zakir Naik, but if it convinces you that Islam is right, then sure, go ahead. And Tariq Ramadan, he's very controversial because people think that he's into pluralism and whatever. And these are many scholars within Islam that can present an argument in favor of Islam. But now, to me, it's more to what I personally experience and what I believe is the right way to do. Because if we talk about morality, for example, morality cannot exist without divine revelation. Richard Dawkins already talked how morality can be reasoned throughout time, which is true. But if objective morality exists from the start, then why didn't we follow it to begin with? And if you realize that most religion, if not all religion, has some form of moral absolutism, is completely compatible with today's era. This means that we wasted our time trying to find reason to justify something good when the moral landscape or the moral navigation already exists from the beginning. Like for example, the Quran. All the values that Quran has existed before, we didn't even need our very long time to reason it out. It was already there. But only now that we realize, oh wait, now it makes sense. I'm more inclined to believe that divine revelation is the best moral compass. Although if you know me, you would say, bullshit, he doesn't even follow or something like that, right? That's a fallacy. Just because you can identify it's a fallacy doesn't make it wrong or right.